your Art Sherpa, and today on the Big Art Quest, officially number 9, because I was sick on week 9, officially quest number 9 is the color wheel, which is actually pretty exciting. And I imagine for new artists, it might seem like, why do I got to know the color wheel? We're going to answer those questions, how it helps you, why it's easy, and why it's good to know about it. On the mic today is my husband, John.
Hello.
He is the Sherpa tracker, so he's going to follow me around on the cameras. He's going to read your questions. He's basically kind of like you guys in the room is a way to talk to me, so he's really awesome. So, like, definitely, type in capitals and yell at him a whole bunch. Because he's got about 1 million buttons to push, right?
But only 3 that matter.
But only 3 that matter. This is a live class. So everybody that came on the live, I'm so excited to see you. If you're here on the replay, I really appreciate you taking the time to learn about this because it will just make art easier and more fun for you. So why not know about it? It's really the whole reason why you want to know the color wheel. Color wheel is an interesting animal, I think, because it is both logical and whimsical. Right?
Yeah.
It allows for both personality types to get something out of it. I love anything in art that allows everybody to find something in it, in there that's juicy for them.
Yeah.
But before I go in, I have something I really have to say to my questers.
Oh, yeah?
Remember, this is a quest, not a class. You can't get behind. You can't do it wrong. And this is about what you need right now. That's why we have it set up this way. That's why we don't just drill down on a topic. Which thing? I don't know. John was doing sign language at me, but I don't know what he was saying.
Tilt your mic up.
It's just probably better you say tilt my mic up. It's just not tilting. You may have to come stunt hand it.
I'm going to come stunt hand you.
It's just not behaving today. I don't know if we bent it or I probably broke it. This is not a show on how to take care of tech. And everybody sees John, finally. Stunt hands is now stunt hands head and hat. The hat that will never go away. Anyways,
Let's see if that works.
hopefully that helps. Hopefully that will help with sound. Definitely always let us know about the sound.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that the color wheel's for everybody. I'm going to start out. This is a color wheel, and we're talking about a color wheel.
That's a good color wheel.
I like this color wheel. If you have kids in your life, this is a great color wheel to get because it's a wonderful entry. They've got this gorgeous graphic. Can you guys see that on the back with the little dinos? Just to make it seem fun.
Yeah.
The Color Wheel Company, which is right here, they're pretty much the Color Wheel Company. Like, their name pretty much describes it. I mean, there's some other places that do artist resources, but the one you're most likely to find is from them. And most art stores will have it, and I did find them in Hobby Lobby. Today, the color wheel we're going to be working from is the Creative Color Wheel.
The professional.
The professional. You're going to be making one for your book.
I like this one better.
You like this one?
No, the one over there.
The dino?
The dino one.
The dino? This one?
Dino.
But not this one.
Not that one.
But this one?
That one.
But not this one.
Not that one.
This one?
That one.
But this one?
Not that one.
I can't get them today.
We
All
could look
right.
at it this way, too.
Help! So I'm going to open this up. So this was, I actually did the whole thing so you could kind of see what you were looking at if you wanted to invest in one. This was $11.99 at the Hobby Lobby. And so if you had your 50% off coupon that they do, wouldn't be too bad. And I think you can get them on Amazon for a deal. John's going to open this up for me. We're going to start doing links for you guys, affiliate links, so it's easier to do this. I think was what we were talking about. We're trying to make this more convenient if you need the convenience. Now, one thing I'll say that I like about these color wheels, and I may move this down to here, right,
Yep.
where we can see it, is that they tell you a lot of stuff that you need to know as an artist, and they make it easy. And I think anything that makes it easy is worth your time. Like, we've talked about hue, tint, tone, and shade.
Yeah.
This has a little cheat guide here.
Ah.
Just in case you were like, what was that again? If you had your color wheel in your art box and you were, say, at a class or a retreat or a workshop, and somebody was saying something, you could check that. It has it labeled split complementary, triad. So if you were having trouble understanding that, this visually makes it simple. It tells you some color theory, right? It gives you some ideas that they have about color theory. And I'm always going to say ideas and not rules, right? Because there's really, There's no gospel in art. That's like its nature. That's why it's art. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly creative. So you want to just kind of get a sense of what's really working for the majority of people. And then you may find that it doesn't work for you and you do slightly different things, and that's okay. But so that's why I like color theory, because it always has theory in the thing. You know, so they're talking about, there are only two ways to use color in any design: contrast, and harmony. Well, no, that's not really true, but but mostly it is. So, and it's always fun to see the artists that break those rules. Those are very good guidelines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they'll say this: complementary colors such as red and green have nothing in common. They're direct opposites on the wheel and produce lively attention-getting contrast. So that's basically, I like that as an example, and the reason I'm sharing that with you here is that's Christmas, right? Red and green, it's Christmas.
Yeah. Yep.
We all know it. It pops. It just, you see the red and green, you know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very powerful color combo. I tend to like to do purple and yellow. I have paintings that are in the purples and yellows. I like to work in contrast. I'm sort of known for it as an artist. They play a lot in my paintings, and I certainly am a fan of it. But you know what? A hi-hat harmony is amazing too. And when I say hi-hat harmony, I would be referring to that the shades of paint, right, like how dark or gray they are the brighter shades, like the 1 to 5s. So they'd be a very bright pastel piece. And a harmony would mean that these are colors that live next to each other on the color wheel. I like to hear the song in my head that I'm not going to sing right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Do you remember the song from the 80s about living in harmony?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I can't sing it, though.
That's
Even
okay.
though I sing it badly, Content ID is so good, it will catch me.
Thank you, Content ID.
So in color, in the color wheel, what are we talking about? We have primaries. Primaries are colors that you don't mix to get, right? So that's the red, that's the blue, and that's the yellow. And when we grow up in school, we learn that there are 3 primaries,
Yes.
right? And that's kind of sort of true. That's sort of mostly true.
Mm-hmm.
Works well enough to explain the beginning. Color theory is one of those things that gets really complicated, but only as complicated as you decide to let it get.
And really only when you get to the ends of the rainbow.
When you get to the ends of the rainbow, that's right. So, you know, what I would say is know that dipping your toe in the water is beneficial to you. You can take it as deep as you enjoy it, and whenever you feel like putting on the brakes, put on the brakes. Don't let somebody railroad you on your artistic journey into feeling like you have to understand something you're not comfortable with. That's a thing that happens in art a lot, and it's a thing I would love to have you guys kind of shield yourselves for. You're like, I'm going to take it this far, and this is good for me. And if you're like, I really don't want to get into this deep, it's okay to pump the brakes.
Don't make me get all magenta up in here.
So John is referring to an experience we had that was a little bit like that. So what happens in the color wheels? The color wheel company, I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you anything they're doing, but they're working on a new wheel.
Yeah.
It's going to blow all the other wheels kind of out of the water, and I can't say what it is. But there's exciting stuff happening in color wheels. Pay attention in your local art store. You might see some new wheels, and now at least you'll know they're new. You won't be going by going, is that different? I don't know. You'll be like, I know it's different.
But, you know, even if you're dealing with computers or dealing with anything like that has to deal with color theory, it starts getting crazy fast.
It does. It starts when you deal with actual light, it gets crazy fast. You can really get some advanced color classes. We're not going to do that today at all.
Printing is a big, tough one, too.
So primary, red,
That's what we need.
yellow, and blue.
Yep.
Okay. And then...
White and black.
No.
No.
No, those are off the color wheel. White and black are the tints and shades.
Oh,
right?
that's...
We did that in the grayscale. So, white and black are not on our color wheel.
Oh.
Right? That's how we tint or shade our paint.
I see. Okay.
Right? By adding white or black. That's how we make it darker or lighter. We do it some other ways too, but that's the direct way. The other thing we like to talk about is secondary colors. I like to do a little dance. Secondary colors. So anytime you mix the primaries together with each other, you get a secondary color. So if you mix yellow and red, you get orange. And you mix blue and red, you get purple. And you mix yellow and blue, you get green. Those are the secondary colors. But you might have remembered when we did our color mixing guide that you might do 2 red and 1 yellow.
Yeah.
right? So that would be like saying
Yeah.
I had orange and I mixed a little more red into it. That's a tertiary color.
Oh. Right. That
Right?
makes sense. Yeah.
That's all they're saying. If you're in a class and they say secondary, they mean you mix some primaries. They say tertiary, you mixed a primary into your secondary color, or you could mix two secondary colors. It's what they're saying is that you have mixed another bit further.
You're
right?
3 deep in the color wheel.
You're 3 deep in the color, and this just goes infinite. This is turtles all the way down, folks. It really goes deep, right? So you can absolutely be up here on the surface going, good, primary, secondary, tertiary, got it,
Right.
wheel. this little thing can be your little life raft
Mm-hmm.
in the world of color. It really does. You don't really need to go beyond this in your art. And if you have one of these with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's got the, let me see if I can see it on here. It's got the cheat. So it tells you what a complementary is, explains a split complementary, explains a triad contrast, a monochromatic, an analogous complementary. These are complicated art ideas, and they've made it simple here. And we're going to cover those. But right now, I'm just introducing the color wheel to you guys, okay?
Mhm.
We're not going to go turtles all the way down, because I like to take things, when we get into those deeper color concepts, I want to break those into another day. So we can digest today simply and just make our wheel, and then we'll get into those other terms, right? And so even if you don't have a wheel, we're going to get into those other terms, and you'll have it in your book, and you'll have an understanding. But today, we're just covering what is the wheel, how we make our wheel as painters, right? And how it applies to us. The other thing that I want to tell you that's going to kind of, this is a little bit where I'm going to Sherpa sideways on you. You ready to go sideways with me? Is everybody ready for a Sherpa sideways?
We're ready.
In painting, I don't like to have 3 primary colors. I like to have 6.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I-
I actually don't even. How? I guess is that.
How do we
How
have
do you
6?
have 6?
Because, have you noticed in painting, if you were to say have ultramarine blue and cad yellow, you don't get the green you expect?
Well, isn't those because those are shades of primaries?
No. That's not what it is. It's about where they're placed on the color wheel. Where they are, if they're warm or cool. So I like to have a warm primary and a cool primary, because that helps me know what colors are not going to be friends and what colors are. You saw little bits of that in our color chart,
Uh-huh.
right? So example-wise, I would say I have cad yellow medium and cad yellow light, right?
Uh-huh.
That would actually be here for me on the color wheel, because cad yellow medium tends to be warmer than cad yellow light.
Gotcha.
In other words, there's a slight green. Anytime a yellow has a slight green to it, it's going to be towards the cool side. Anytime it has a slight red to it, it's going to be to the red side. If you wanted it to be completely neutral, you could do like medium azo, but we don't have that in our palette.
So why don't you use a true medium? Like a true medium yellow, a true medium red, and a true medium blue.
I like cad.
Oh.
The thing is, as painters, we like the paint colors we like, and just understanding how they fit in our primary helps us. That's what I'm saying. Like, the color wheel is our friend, but then we have our palette of colors, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So we just have to know where they are, and if we think of it like that, so we don't just have phthalo blue, we have ultramarine blue and phthalo blue. Well, we know phthalo blue makes a pretty darn nice green, right?
Yeah.
But this blue has a lot more violet to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a little more to this red side, isn't it?
Well, I guess this kind of makes sense because when they were digging up yellow oxide out of the ground, they weren't like, this is going to be medium yellow.
Right, no. So I got my cad red medium, and we know that cad red medium and this makes a nice orange, but these two aren't going to make anything nice, right? But if we get over into the crimsons or into, say, the quinacridone magentas, we're going to get beautiful purples even with the ultramarine. Because the quinacridone magenta, which I left over there, of course I did.
Yeah.
Right? The quinacridone magenta is more towards the purple. See, it's just we're looking to see where is this living on our color wheel, the color wheel of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
just like people don't come in one cookie cutter, easy to understand and deal with pattern, right? We come in shades and values and hues, and we live in different places on our color wheel, and we have different. I mean, it's exactly like that. Like a lot of times, I'll be like, people are like the color wheel, right? And if you get two contrasting colors, some stuff happens. It can be good stuff. It can be bad stuff. There's no good or bad color. It's just knowing where it lives on the wheel and how it relates to the other colors that's important for you. Right?
Right.
Right. So, like, if I'm trying to just use red, yellow, and blue, I'd have to almost make sure that all of my primaries were they were all cool or they were all warm.
Right. Yeah.
Or they wouldn't play well together.
Now, so you managed to make that really rainbowy painting you did behind you with just your palette. So you hit all of the big reds and then.
Yeah, but I had a little thing happening over here, and I when we go into this the color list for this is Saturday's class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
It is going to be fun.
Oh, that's going to be in American
Sign Language.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
That's going to be really great.
So in our little quest thing, we're supposed to be making a wheel. Another tool in your thing to understand color besides this wheel, which if you can, again, this is art supplies. So respect, why is this doing this today? You've got to get the art supplies that you can get in the budget that you have.
Yeah.
So nothing we're doing here is like, this is what I used to not love about art classes. If you didn't have this crazy overpriced tool, you couldn't move forward in the class. We're not going to do that because it's a quest. And quest allows for the fact that people have lives and budgets. Just, you know what, but half-price bookstore, you never know when you're going to run into these garage sales. A lot of times people buy them because they think that they might want one, and then they're never explained what the heck this is. And and they never explain what this is, and they don't realize that it's really actually very valuable to them. And we're going to come back to this a couple of times during our quest. But again, you can build it in your book. You could do this with crayons.
Yeah.
This is just for you to get to be thinking about these things, because if you're thinking about these things, you won't find yourself in that circumstance where you're painting, you go to mix something, you expect green, and you get olive. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm mixing army colors here. What's going on? Now you'll be like, oh, I know what's happened.
Well, there's a quick Google search, and there's a bunch of color wheels out there, too.
There's, printable color wheels. Free printable color wheels. I think the Color Wheel Company has some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another neat thing that I like is the pocket guide to color mixing. I got this here so you could see what it was. It was $4.52 at the Hobby Lobby. Again, you could use your coupon. And sometimes they just put all this stuff on sale. And this nice little dude is a fabulous cheat sheet.
Whoa, that's like.
And it has a little work area for you. It's a fun little thing, and you can put it in an art box if you've got to go somewhere. So it's like my color books that I recommend. It's not a must-have. It's just if you can, it's a lovely have. Some things are a lovely have. Some things are have. This is a lovely have. Super, super lovely. So when I'm doing a color wheel, I'm going to do this in my... I've got paint everywhere. This is going to be interesting.
You have to pull your mic up a bit.
It's just doing this, John. We got to look at it. I think I broke it.
No, you didn't break it.
I think I bolted it.
I think I have to get a boom mic is what I have to do.
Is that what it is?
I have to put a mic above your head.
So I'm going to do this here.
What are you doing?
I'm going to make myself kind of like a little goofy wheel for a second.
Okay, we'll look up at the camera, see where we're at.
Okay.
It's nice to see you, but I mean, move a gesture. Yeah, there you go.
I just didn't know what you meant. All right. Hopefully we can kind of see what I'm doing here. I know normally on these quests I just have you guys do them at home, but I just wanted to give you kind of a starting point. So I want you to look at your colors in your box. Everybody's got a little box of paint. I'm using this. You could just trace around. I just did that wrong, didn't I?
No, you're doing fine.
Coordination, not my friend.
I'm going to say we have a really full house. We got over 200 people out here. I just saw Mark was here. I saw Kim Sim and Mona. And all of our friends are out here today. And I just wanted to say thanks for everyone for showing up and hanging out. So it's always nice to have a full room of people to chat with. And that's partially why I've been a little bit distracted. So
I've got those two there. And you can kind of even, I can see by eye, right? There's a really cool way to see if a paint is cool or dark, cool or warm, right? And we're going to show that trick at another time, but there is something, right? And then I've got the cadmium yellow light. I'm just using some colors that we have used in previous classes so that we are at least using what might be in our box. If you don't have two reds, let's say you just have cad yellow medium and cad red, then you're going to build your wheel from what you have. This is your wheel. This isn't, this is the wheel for your reference.
Yeah.
And it's just going to tell you what is going on in your world. Right? So if you only had the phthalo blue and you didn't have the ultramarine blue, guess what? You're doing, for your wheel, your 3-color primary. And that's okay, but those are your 3. I don't want you to have to go out and buy stuff that you don't have.
Yeah. Now, if you're going out for the first time and you are buying your first color paints, there's a series of questions here. What would you suggest if do you have a brand or an area you want to? They were asking what paint do you want to suggest for people to start with?
Okay, so this is always back down to your budget, and it's and everything else in art. It's not a yes or no answer. And we should do a paint buying guide again. I think I have in the iCard. There's a quiz. What you want to do next?
Yep.
So gels or paint is up there. Because we might cover that. Why is this paint expensive? Why is this paint inexpensive? When is it okay to do inexpensive? When do I have to do expensive? Those kinds of questions. Generally, here's what it is. So the better your paint, the less grief it will give you, right? Because how they're going to save money in the manufacturing of the paint is in the pigments and in the binders and polymers, manufacture, the quality of the manufacture. And unlike many things in life, in paint, it does matter.
And the support you get after purchase.
Well, but yeah, and the support you get after purchase. But here's the deal, like some good companies have a student grade paint, and so you're going to get good support because they're a company like Liquitex has Liquitex Basics, but they also have Liquitex Heavy Body and Fine Materials, right? So you don't get the performance in the Liquitex Basics that you get in Liquitex Heavy Body by any means, or the color. And there's challenges. But you do get a national company with a helpline of people who care about your product experience. You're not going to get anything so crazy that you can't handle it, right? So the rule is figure out what your budget is. If a sale won't bring the great quality paint, like I love Golden, I love Liquitex, I like Matisse. I'm actually learning right now about Dollar and Raleigh System 3. So there's paints I'm coming to, but right now that's what I'm painting. If the coupon won't get you there, then you've got to look at the mid-grade and student grade paints.
Yeah.
So right now, here's my feeling on mid-grade, student grade paints. Liquitex Basics, okay, because there's a company behind it that answers. Dollar and Raleigh, okay, because there's a company behind it that answers. Windsor and Newton, okay, because there's a company behind it that answers. Deco and Plaid all have help desks. There's a big brand I left out.
Yep.
Right? So we don't go, there's a big brand I left out because here's the deal, right? You need to have a website with support. All of those have great support websites. You need to have a lot of supplemental reference material. All of those have that. You need to, it's great if there's a YouTube channel. All the ones that I listed in the student and mid-grade, they have all of those. Oh, I think Soho. Maybe it's Lucas. I've got to look into those. So it's really just about what I know is going to support you.
Yeah.
So whether you're doing 83 cents for a bottle of paint, right?
Yeah.
Or whether you've got, like a couple bucks in, I think Dollar Raleigh is, I don't remember what its set price is, but it's like System 3. But there's a lot that they give you. They've got Facebook, they've got Instagram, they got Twitter, they got YouTube.
And you've used Utrecht paint before too, haven't you?
Utrecht, yes.
Utrecht.
Yes.
Yeah, I always mispronounce that. But
Utrecht.
Yeah.
So Utrecht is a high quality paint. My issue with Utrecht is sometimes it's they're not commonly carried in a store.
Mm-hmm.
It can be hard to get where I'm at. May not be hard to get where you are at.
Especially if you're next to one of their stores.
Yeah, if you're next to one of their stores, oh my gosh, you've got the support you need, and they have an online resource.
Yeah.
There was an Utrecht store here. I did probably one of the largest projects in my life with that paint. I had no problems with the paint at all, and it was a massive project. If I was going to have a problem, I would have had a problem. But the store closed.
Yeah.
So was not as functional for me. Amsterdam Paints got super excited about them at Art Materials. They have crazy stuff. Going to check it out. The paint world's big. Find a company that's been in business that cares about you.
Yeah, and it won't take you long to do a little bit of research to find that out. I mean,
Yeah.
quick Google search,
Yeah.
phone call, you'll
Yeah.
know.
You'll know. You'll know. Like if you like a paint and you like the price point, then make sure that there's a website, there's a support. You can always do a test question. That's what I do. I pretend to be somebody else and I ask these companies questions. I have gotten answers back that I really like from all the companies that I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who's the number one fastest answer? Golden.
Yeah.
Boy, it's like the speed of light. Their answers. There's like somebody on that computer desk going, "Who's got a question about paint? I'm going to answer all the answers."
That's all they do, though. They are
That's all they do.
they are the paint research people.
Dude, it's just I don't know. It's a cartoon experience. Like in Transylvania, the movie, the cartoon,
Yep.
with the puppies,
Yep.
the werewolf puppies, like when they're all on you. It's like that quick. It's really an experience. All right, let's wet our brushes, right? And we're going to make our color wheel. So up the color wheel, right? So the color wheel's high point is always the yellow. And as you move up the color wheel, it's warmer. And as you move down the color wheel, it's cooler. Right? And so I'm going to sit there and say, okay, I feel that my cad yellow medium here, I'm going to put it, maybe I want to do something kind of funny. I'm going to be kind of funny, John.
Okay.
I'm going to be kind of funny. I'm going to be cheeky because I'm an artist. And I can. And this is a really funny thing to do. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a little heart. Because I don't have to make little squares. I can make this any way I want to.
Mm-hmm.
This is my wheel. You could make little fish. Also, the fun thing is you can divide a heart in half with micro shades. All right, so I've got that there. All right, there's that. And next to it, it's heart friend.
Well, where'd you go?
Sorry.
Cannot track those who are off the camera.
Cannot track. Those are off the camera, right? Cannot track. I feel like this has a slight green tint to it. And, when I check it with these colors, yeah, it does. So if I mix it with the phthalo, I get a really green.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this is here. And sometimes you'll be wrong. Don't be afraid of being wrong. I've been doing this for decades. I know a lot about it.
And you do it wrong all the time.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I know these artists, because they want to label themselves as masters and experts. Right? Yeah, they do. There's a whole group of artists, they want to call themselves masters or experts. Really handful of people on the planet are actually masters or experts. It's like, I think we can count them, and they write articles. And actually, they're pretty chill. For some reason, the more you know, the chiller you get. But there's people that do, and then they're just afraid of being wrong, and then they've got to prove other people wrong, and they're kind of confrontational. And you just kind of avoid them where you can. Because all that happens is if you're slightly wrong is that you make adjustments and fix it in your private little book, and then it's right. You don't need to be all that worried. Now, there's a little bit of yellow. Thank you for the Swedish fish. There's a little bit of yellow in my cad red, so I'm going to come over here at this point. I'm going to make a nice little...
You're a little off there. There you go.
This is quite a little journey. And I'm just doing hearts. You could do little fishes. You could do leaves. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful versions of this done, by the way. I have seen some heirloom, gorgeous pieces done. Hopefully we're liking the new website, TheArtSherpa.com.
I hope so.
The quest is functionally there, so we're going to start adding to it and making it go. Everyone's got to teach me how to use my own site.
We're going to do a video on that here pretty quick, though.
Are we?
Yeah, I was just saying earlier in the chat, all the Sherpettes and Breakfast Club were here. So, we need to do a channel ad and how to use the website video.
In my experience, crimson will tend to be to the cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, just my opinion. Probably will prove out to be true. Just a lot of experience there. But you can see them when they're next to each other. You can see how this one's slightly warmer and this one's slightly cooler.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how this one's slightly warm and that one's slightly cooler. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. Now, what's your standard palette? The Sherpa standard. What do you generally like?
I need to do a video on that, and that's quite a discussion.
Mm.
So,
We'll put a pin in it.
yeah, I think that's we got to put that up as a future quest.
Literally, you're going to put a pin in it. So later on,
Later, we're going to put a pin in it.
You'll be able to link right back here to this point right now, and there'll be a little section that says, if you go here, you can talk about Sherpa's palette. But
I'm going to check my feelings on ultramarine right
Okay.
here.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, yeah, I'm correct. See how I'm getting an actual purple here,
Yes.
right? With this crimson, I get actual purple.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do it wrong.
here, if I go here and here, no.
It gets gray.
Yeah. So I feel like, well, whatever, it's going to be this.
What's on the palette right now? Sorry.
Oh, okay. So I've got CAD yellow medium, CAD light.
Okay.
I've got Naphthol crimson.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I've got CAD red medium. I've got phthalo blue, and I've got ultramarine blue.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm going to do some little hearts here. And I feel like phthalo is... Well, actually, dude, there's a cheat on phthalo. Because all the fine art bottles say green shade, red shade.
Oh, that's
It
true.
tells you could actually, if you wanted to have a warm blue and cool blue,
You just go both of those.
you just go green shade, that's warm, red shade, that's cool.
Yeah.
And ultramarine and red shade are close, and that's the cheat for that. I used to do that in math. I'm like, what's my math cheats? What are they, man? I don't want to have to figure this out. I just want to do my math cheats. And so that is how they do. That is how they do. I'm doing little hearts. You could do leaves. You could do happy little fish. You could do beautiful little flowers. Personal color wheel may be what you would like it to be.
It could be a wheel of fish.
Yes, be a wheel of fish. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go.
Yay.
Yay. We got those there. And so then what would happen?
Is that you have 6 hearts on your page?
I have 6 hearts on my page. So if
Yay.
I have ultramarine and crimson, I can mix them together in a 1-to-1 ratio.
Now, generally speaking, things that shift to the red are warm.
Things that shift to red or yellow are warmer.
And things that go to blue or green are...
Okay, so what it is, the bottom of the wheel,
Uh-huh.
right, which is your violets, these range of colors here.
Uh-huh.
That's your cooler colors. As you move closer to yellow, those are warmer.
Oh, the yellow reds.
Top of the wheel.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So I've got that down there. And then I could move towards my blue. See, I'm just making this little wheel. This is my personal little wheel. It's just letting me know where stuff is, right? And I'm mixing my cools together down here. You could do micro shades. You could do half shades on your hearts. You can just have a whole blast. This is just an exercise to help your brain and your eyes actually develop an understanding of what it's looking at.
Gotcha. I think I was just stunt-handsing when Lindsay came in.
Hi, Lindsay. So I'm going to add a little red over here. So this one's going to be a little more to the red, heading up this way as we're coming back up the wheel. So it's getting warmer, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you were painting on our palette, we have dioxazine purple, we would just put that down here and use that to mix our wheel. And we're going to keep drilling down on this. This is our first conversation because color can get a little crazy, can get a little complicated. And if you just take it in little micro bits, you know what I did? I so dyslexically flipped my hearts. Thank goodness this is a personal, in my private book moment.
They don't all have to be going the same direction.
Don't all have to be going the same direction.
It's about the color, not the...
It's about just processing what you're looking at. And you're going, oh, this is what's happening. Right? This is what's going on.
Now, if you don't have Naphthol Crimson, what is there...
So if you didn't have Naphthol Crimson and you had been painting with me, I want you to use your purple down here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because you know what you're never going to get? Purple. Because these both are these are both warm. You'd have to have a cerulean blue. These are not trues.
Oh, that's true. That's what we were
So
talking
you're
about
going to
earlier.
always get that brick color. It's always going to be a problem for you. But that's why it's always a problem for you.
You have to slide your color wheel over to your right just a little bit. There you go.
The reason a color mix will ever be hard for you, if you're mixing a set of primaries and you're expecting to get purple and you're getting brick or gray.
Because they got the different...
Yeah. Things are moving warmer on the color wheel, and that's what's happening.
I
If
know.
they were all cooler on the color wheel, right? Like with our, if you have the quinacridone magenta, you're hooked up. You make a whole bunch of purples down here.
Now, I know now, and what's sad here is now I know exactly what's going on, but I couldn't explain it to anybody else.
Again, it's just a journey. Well, that's why I like that little wheel. I've got my two warm. I've got my red, my warm red, and my warm yellow. Right? So I'm going to make a little warm red heart right here in the middle. Just happily in the middle. They're happy being there. Flipping it around again. Right? Now I'm going to add just a little more of the red to it for that middle range right here. So what do we have? We have tertiaries, don't we? There's what I've done. I made tertiaries. When I make a secondary color, but I add more red to it, what am I going to get?
Tertiary?
Tertiary.
I was guessing. So
Yeah. That's all they're talking about. It seems initially like a complicated term, but it's really not. So I'm adding more yellow to it. This is the tertiary of orange. And then we're going to go back after doing this, and we're going to look at our color wheel again and see if it doesn't feel super simple. Right? Now I've got my cool yellow right here and my warmer blue.
this is kind of the difference between like the tropical greens and the camouflage greens.
Yeah, this is where we're. So see how we got that kind of nice bright green right there?
Now, where's dioxazine purple fall in here?
I would have to do that trick that I talked about doing the other time about saying, if for the purposes of us, you put your dogs right there.
Yeah.
For the purposes of us, if you're just working your own handmade wheel,
Yeah, where would it go?
it'd go right here.
Oh, at the very bottom. So slide that forward so when people are pointing at it, they can't see you point.
Yeah.
So it
Here-
goes where?
It would go right here.
Okay. Now
Okay.
we can see.
Yeah, right there.
Perfect.
Because if you can't buy a color wheel, then you can just sort of make that, and it's just a nice thing that you can do. I'm going to make a tertiary here. I'm going to add more yellow to my mid green, and look, I got that nice. Doesn't that feel like Easter right there?
Yeah.
Here's your Easter right there. And
Or
then,
like sherbet.
yeah, and then if I want it to be, I think I need a little more. And again, color is turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
And John can kind of explain what that means. It just keeps getting as complicated as you need it to be, or as simple as you need it to be. So once you've done that yourself and you're like, oh, okay, this is sort of what's happening on my color wheel, making fish, making happy, whatever. Your color wheels don't need to be perfect. You just need to be introducing yourself to the ideas that you've got there, right? So now, when I go to true blue, right, right? Which is in general, when you're just generally getting it, that's generally going to be a cerulean right here.
Okay.
But we don't paint with cerulean, so it doesn't really help you guys. I would say like here you'd be looking at, in this range is where you're looking at phthalo and ultramarine. And then over here is where you're looking at
Yep.
cad light, cad yellow. So, all right, let's go here. So we're blue,
Okay.
right? And if we mixed our blue and our yellow, we get green. And here are the two tertiaries between them, and suddenly that makes sense. So if you took green, right, and added a little more blue to it, you'd get green-blue. Right? But if you took the green here, you get blue-green.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, what they're saying, all they're saying to you is you have a blue with a slightly green shade, or you have a green with a slightly blue shade.
Okay, that makes sense.
This green is bluish, right?
Mhm.
And so, do you see that's all they're trying to tell you?
Yeah.
So if you're, I know it gets crazy. So you've got your blue and you mix your red, and you theoretically are going to get this violet,
Right.
right? That's what's theoretically going to happen to you. Where it does true color thing? Oh, pure color. The pure color, right? So you get your violet. So there's your shades again. It's how much blue has been mixed into the violet, or how much violet has been mixed into the blue. Those are the tertiaries.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the reds. If we're down here towards the violets, these are all cool, aren't they? But as they move up here, do you see how this purple suddenly is warm?
Mm-hmm.
This purple's cool. It's got more blue in it. This purple's warm. It has more red in it. What does that mean to you as a painter? Cool colors look like they're farther away. I'm trying to paint mountains. I need to cool my colors down. I need to push them back.
Interesting.
Which tertiary do I need to be working to? A warmer tertiary or a cooler tertiary?
Okay.
Cooler, pushing it back. If I need it to feel like it's coming forward, I'm going to warm it up. If I'm trying to paint a sunset that feels like it's on fire and I'm using all cool tertiaries, it's not going to give me that feeling. It's going to feel like a cool evening, not a hot sunset.
Okay, so I have a community question.
I would happily answer a community question.
This comes from Angela. And
Hi, Angela.
It has to do with grays.
Mm.
So she wants to know the difference between cool gray leans to the green side of gray, warm gray leans to the red,
Yeah.
and what is French gray? All those are in her supply. It's just like, I have colored gray.
That's going to be for the trick where I show you how to tell if a color is cool or warm, if you don't know. Because some people have this information just in their head locked down for entire runs of color. I ran into people this weekend that knew this for every color manufactured back into history.
Oh, yeah. It's like passionate
That's
people
expert.
about color.
Check. That's master knowledge. Check. If you're just sitting there going, historically, and they have like 25 facts that you've never heard of from Mummy Brown beyond the fact that it was made from mummies,
Yeah.
expert. Also, generally the grooviest people in the room. Don't know
Mhm.
why. Just generally true.
Pigment hunters.
So that's the turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
So when we're going into that, I'm gonna show you some tricks, right? Other resource, artistnetwork.com has a blog. A lot of the stuff is covered because there's some turtle all the way down people there. So if you need to know something urgently, that's the way to go. And we're gonna do that trick in the quest. But generally, cool and warm grays is just about, is it towards the cool colors? Is it moving down the color wheel? Is it moving up the color wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's all we're talking about. Down or up the color wheel. Complements. All they're saying is if violet is here and yellow is here, these are complements. Mix them together, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a grayed out purple. So when I have a very vibrant thing and I need it grayed out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would I do? I would mix its complement in. So if, say, I'm trying to paint this for my mountain color, right?
Yep.
But it's too vibrant. It's not grayed out enough to feel far away. I could look at my wheel and go, if I just tinted it with a little bit of my cad,
Yep.
which is closer to your orange yellow, it's going to grade out perfectly. Mountain. If you're stuck, that's how you get unstuck. That's the nice part about the wheel, is about its being logical,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you can get into color schemes, like triadic color schemes. And what they're saying is, if this is here and this is here and this is here, then these are triads of each other. Obviously, the primaries are triadic colors,
Mm-hmm.
right? But once you get into secondaries and tertiaries, there's triadics within the triadics. Turtles all the way down.
And we haven't even gotten into luminosity versus reflectiveness
No,
versus
it's just
translucence.
bananas.
Yeah.
I just want you guys to go, oh, color wheel, what's it for? It's for me. It's for me, right? Oh, it means if I'm trying to paint mountains, they need to be cooler because cool colors go farther back into the picture, and they need to be grayed out because they wouldn't be as saturated to my eye.
Mm-hmm.
How would I do that? I'd find, if I was stuck, I'd find its space on the wheel and add a little complement to it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And that's a big question people get. I'm painting this landscape and I'm really stumped. How do I know what to paint first? Right? This actually helps you because you're breaking it down. Once you know how the structure of a painting is constructed, when we cover how a painting is constructed, and then you have your color wheel, those are the key skills that are going to help you start painting from your photographs.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what we're building. Goal at the end of the year is you guys are feeling like you could paint from some trip photographs. So again, if you can't, print out a color wheel, they're out there, they're free. Wiki has them.
Mm-hmm.
If you like this, if you're excited about this, I think I really like Mind of Watercolor. Taught by a guy named Steve for his color theory, like the best. I'm digging it. He does some cool stuff.
So
And they're in snippets. It's not an hour like this. It's in snippets.
Yeah.
So now that you have the concept, you could go over to Mind of Watercolor. Yes, that does apply to us acrylic artists, and just watch his color series.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just skip all the rest of the color quest because you'll be like, I got it. But if you're like, no, I want to be here, we're going to cover all of it.
But
okay, questions.
real quick, what are triads again? Explain that.
Okay, so it is if you go to green, right?
Yeah.
These are. Do you see how it does this right here? It gives you these little things right here.
Yeah.
These are 3 colors equally spaced from each other on the wheel. Example, red, yellow, blue. But in this case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're here at blue-green. What's the triads for blue-green? Yellow-orange and red-violet are the triads. So if I'm trying to do a painting, if I work these 3 together, ooh, so pretty. Like I'm working on an abstract and I want a nice color scheme in there. I can use triadics as a great way to get a beautiful color scheme.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's why I like the chitty.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just nice to have. And I mean, it gets crazy. You could do split complementaries, right? And, it's complement. It's just crazy. Turtles. All the way down. That's why I keep saying it. We could have done turtles all the way around the wheel because it's turtles all the way down. You can do leaves. You can do whatever. All I'm trying to get you to do is just visually look at what colors are warmer, what colors are cooler. Why aren't the colors mixing? Why wouldn't cad yellow, right? Why wouldn't cad yellow mix with ultramarine, right? But if ultramarine is if cad yellow is more towards the red and ultramarine is more towards the violet, and you just look at this little chart and then couldn't do it and be like, oh, they're in a place, they're almost complements on the color wheel, so they're graying out.
Right.
Their undertones are complements on the color wheel, so they're graying out.
That makes sense.
If you didn't know that ultramarine had a violet undertone, then it would make no sense why yellow, its complement, would be graying it out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you knew that ultramarine had a wildly violet undertone, then you'd be like, this is why this is going all gray. And then you could use it on purpose because then you're pushing foliage back into like if you're trying to paint dusty, faraway foliage, then it's a useful color combo because it's grayed out. But now well, if I've got phthalo blue-green shade and I've got cad yellow, they're probably going to make me, as you know if you paint with me, some beautiful greens, some vibrant greens. This range of greens right there.
Gotcha. So sort of with this, so the knowledge of the color wheel in itself is kind of academic, but once we apply it to the use of like those paint swatches that you did, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, then these two tools together, they start making a lot of sense.
They start making a lot of sense, and when you're stuck, they can get you out of a lot of trouble.
So it might be worth, I mean, like I'm even thinking I would go back and rewatch that other video so that I can better, because I don't paint, but I mean, like it makes better understanding now a lot of what we were talking about then.
And I think if you just understand the basic things we're talking about, like if you're feeling confident now you could watch somebody's video on more complicated color theory and you'd be like, got it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's so many oh my gosh moments ahead of you. That's all I'm saying. Did I say hi to Lindsay?
You did.
Okay.
She was in here hanging out. So there's a bunch of people hanging out. See,
I'm just having a crazy day. She's checking to make sure our chats are working because, like, for some reason our chats were disabled. I don't know if y'all noticed that for a little bit. We were, like, taking snapshots and sending it to our YouTube specialist. I actually know my YouTube specialist name. I won't say his name, but I know it because I write him a lot. And it's always the same guy answers me back. So I think we get an official, like, person who gets stuck dealing with us.
Yeah.
Unless maybe we're a problem. I don't know. I don't actually know how any of that works. So luckily, we all snapshotted last night, and it was all, you're chatting today. I was going to send y'all to Periscope.
Yeah.
If it wasn't working out.
Well, Lindsay was saying that her chat was not working, but our chat, luckily, by the graces of all the, intertubians.
Hers is still not working.
Hers, yes, she was just saying in chat that my chat is still not working. She was exclamation mark.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so tomorrow, I think Lindsay has a live.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah, at 12:30 Eastern.
Oh no! For the event scheduled tomorrow, it's not showing up there yet.
The chat isn't.
Yeah, the chat isn't showing up for her scheduled event tomorrow.
Well, if you're going to Lindsay's event tomorrow, which you should,
yes,
at 12:30 Eastern. She's going to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
And we'll be.
I think it's this really bananas beautiful church that she painted in watercolor. Get your color wheels out and see if you can tell Lindsay's color choices.
Yeah.
Because they're actually really good. I love the piece she did. Yeah. So she's doing that tomorrow. If for any reason that
it's 12:30.
12:30
Eastern.
You guys could I don't know, meet on, I don't know. She's going to come up with something for chat. Or do something.
I'm sure that the Googling the Googleites will fix it by then.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
That really freaks me out. I'm exclamation point too, girl. Because I got up and I was like, oh, they fixed it. Good.
So
maybe it just corrected on its own, and I'm just thinking my YouTube fairy fixed it, and it didn't. This is not related to color wheel, and people can be like, lady.
But Barbara was asking about that.
Okay.
Color wheel. So, and it's kind of weird how so this question was phrased interestingly. Is the color wheel the basis for your underpaintings?
It can be.
But a good underpainting would use the color wheel. So,
like, say I wanted to do an acrylic colored ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I was very serious about my art. It's very serious. Very serious. And actually, I could do this if I wasn't serious. I could use my knowledge of the color wheel to create an acrylic color ground that either grade my colors as I layered them up or help improve their saturation or their vibrancy. Right. I could use it to, all right, one of my favorite examples of that is there's a bunch of the artists, they do almost a quinacridone. I'm going to say it's somewhere right in this range. They do under their color, and then they come over to, and it's almost on the split complement. They come over here and do the painting over it. And pops that red show through, and it's insane.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening, is they're using the more complicated formulas of this to get those incredible things. And understanding that, like good colorists understand this on another level. And so they will go outside and they will paint, and they'll paint very fast. And you'll see them, and you'll notice things like they don't use black.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do shadows with like purples and blues. They'll do all these amazing other things that will keep the painting so vibrant. There's an artist, Drema Parish, Drema, Drema Parish, Toll Parish.
Don't ask me.
So
I
bad at
don't
artist
know.
name. Drema Toll Parish. Daily Painter. Search Drema Toll Parish. DREAMA. DRE. Just search her art.
We'll put a link up there for her.
She's not classically trained, but she gets her color.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely works this, and you're going to see a quality to her paintings that seem unusual to you.
Yes.
And you'll be like, wow, she's what we would call a colorist. She uses how warm and cool colors play against each other, how triadics and split complementaries work to create lush, dreamlike bits of yumminess. It's the only way to describe her work. It's dreamlike bits of yumminess.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us like Angel Motan. She's the little lady that does the quick birds if you've been on Pinterest. These are those things that make that come together. And again, you got to go see Lindsay and see what little color combos, because I saw some oranges, yellows, and purples. She did some of it today.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. If you catched her blog, you'd know.
Color mixing.
Some cool color mix-ins. And then Saturday we can use some of this here. Mostly we're just painting the rainbow because it's fun. And, because rainbows are fun, as clearly my hat
Yes.
states. Is this helpful? Or is there anything, because I want to make sure I get everybody's questions on the basics answered. We will come back to this. We'll come back to color, just like we come back to design fundamentals and we come back to certain things. In traditional class, what it is you'll be in a design segment and you'll be in it until you think you're going to pull your skin off your face. It gets to be a little much because I feel like as artists, we organically like to jump around a little bit. We like to get an idea, digest it, or at least I know I do, and then come back to it from a fresh perspective, which is why I'm kind of letting us wave along. Actually, there is a plan. Wave along. iCard. Vote on what you want to do next.
Yes.
Also, let me know if the voting iCard works.
and sign up for our website
Sign up on our website, and there'll be more stuff. Like we'll talk about the philosophy when I think about like more philosophically about things like there are no good and bad colors. It's just how they relate to each other on the wheel. You can apply that to everything in life. If you see somebody that's being particularly sour in front of you, you can go, there's no good or bad colors. It's just he's in a place on the color wheel I can't deal with today. I just
can't go there on the color wheel with you.
I can't. We're not good harmonies. Oh, that was the last term. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Harmony. Right?
Yes.
Analogous colors. These are colors that are next to each other on the wheel.
Uh-huh.
This is I'm going to cover this again because I'm doing this at the end, and this is something I'm going to cover again and again and again. Painting with kids. So kids organically want to mix everything that they have on their palette, right? You've painted with them?
Yeah.
So, and maybe you do too. This might apply to you too. If you only put out colors that are harmonies on the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what's going to happen is the colors that they mix, analogies, harmonies, from 3 to 5 adjacent hues. That's right. So if you were to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and only put those out.
See, flip it upside down on the other side. See, it's got the
right here.
See how it has the 5 cutouts on it.
Here.
Yeah. See how it's got all the cutouts.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
There you go.
All right. So if I only put these colors out for, say, a kid or class I was painting with.
Yeah.
And white. And a little black. Every painting they had would be successful. You'd never see the grayed out paintings.
Yeah.
And this is a way to sort of trick kids into getting all the mixing out that they need to do, all the experimenting out that they need to do, but still get something that's very successful for them on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, "How your kids are all so talented?" Mama puts out compliments. Mama doesn't put out compliments. We put out analogous colors on the thing, and then we just change it up. On occasion, I will put out things where they can get the grays, where they get the gray colors, just to let them see that result. But when you're painting with them, if you do that, it's one of my mama tricks for just being like, oh, look, it's all coming out so good.
Yay.
Little white, little black, and then they learn about tanning and shoning, and it's very successful. Also for you, if you're only working in these, you're not going to get any bad colors.
Yeah.
And your painting will feel so calm and harmonious.
Yeah. And it's
I'll cover that again and again and again as we cover color.
And I guess for working in abstracts, color wheel, again, a very powerful tool.
Most powerful tool.
Knowing how to play with colors.
But not gospel.
Sure.
but most powerful tool.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful.
I think so.
Just trying to be helpful.
I think so.
I so appreciate your time and the energy. I look forward to seeing your color wheels. But remember, they don't have to be like perfect little segments. You can do fish, you can do stuff. And just remember, like, if you're getting these grayed out mixes, then it's about where they are in the color wheel. It's not you. It's not that you can't mix color. If you're just sitting there going, everyone else can mix purple but me? Really? Seriously? It's probably just that you had ultramarine blue and cad red.
Yeah.
Or phthalo blue and cad red and everything. If you want to get purple with any of your blues, you need to have a crimson. Your red needs to be a cool red. That's all it is. Then you know, my red is warm. My blue is warm. One of those, somebody's warm.
These words of colors are swimming in my head. I can't even make sense
of
it.
Is it too much?
No, I mean, like, it all makes sense, although I don't know that I could articulate it to anyone else. I mean, like, I totally get it. Like, you know, what colors make things turn gray, how to look at them on the wheel, where tertiaries are, where complements are, where harmonies are. I get, and now I can see how using those. I don't think I could explain it very well, though.
Yeah. And
That's
you can make
hard.
all those notes on your wheel. You can note up your wheel. You put it in your book. Anything that you feel is really important for you or is a breakthrough for you, put it definitely into your book.
Yeah. Yeah, and post pictures up. We loved all the pictures. We saw some pictures of Blendy in there. That was fun.
The rule of thirds and other myths, you guys rocked out.
I love
your
that.
doodles.
Yeah, it's like we had a whole wackadoodles to put up there. Oh, wackadoodles.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You're being silly.
Gotta be silly.
Yep.
I'm going by the P.O. box.
Yes.
And then we're going to have a viewer mail soon.
We're going to record.
Heart mail
We
coming up.
have some more videos we're going to do right after this.
Yeah, I actually have a whole bunch of stuff to do today because I have to share with you my favorites from the Art Materials Show.
Mm-hmm. You might see this hat again in a moment.
Yeah, but like later in the week.
Yeah.
So weird.
But we're not going to let you see it until later.
Crazy us.
All right.
You guys be good. I'm going to see you at the next quest. Vote on what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at it in a couple days and then decide. So if like 3 of you vote, you get to decide for everybody. So go to town. Unless there's nothing there, and then just do it. And then just let me know that the vote didn't work.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm sure it will. We love you guys. We're going to see you guys what? Soon? How soon are we going to see them?
Probably tomorrow
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
for a heart meal.
Yep. For heart meal. All right. Bye-bye, guys.